Did you know that the best time of year to plant a tree is in the fall and not in the spring? Well, if you've ever wanted to know how to do it, stick around. We're going to talk about that in this month's Quick Tip. Hey friends, Ryan Reynolds here with Keller Williams Consultants Realty with this month's Quick Tip. Today we're talking about planting trees, and we're going to plant this tree right here. Now this is a mountain ash, and you can get trees down at your local nursery, but I got this one actually from my dad, who saved a sucker that came off of a tree that was in his yard and planted it in this bucket. But kind of interestingly, that sucker that he got off the tree in his yard came from a sucker. It was on a tree at my family farm. So technically this is a third generation tree that my grandfather probably purchased out of a magazine for 15 cents or something like that. Anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to show you the right way to plant a tree. Just to give you a little bit of an overview of the process, what we're going to do is we're going to first make a circle, and we're going to remove the sod out of that circle. We're then going to dig down a little bit. We're actually going to dig down the depth of the dirt in the pot here, and we're not going to go any farther than that, or maybe a touch farther than that, but we want to, at the end of the day, have the tree actually sit up a little bit out of the ground. Now, once we take that dirt out, we're going to mix that dirt with some compost that I have over in the wheelbarrow, and then we're going to put the tree in, kind of get it lined up how we want it, and we're going to backfill the hole with the combination of compost and the soil we took out of the hole. We're then going to put a layer of landscape fabric over the top so we don't have to worry about weeds too much next year. And then we're going to mulch everything and make it look good. So the first step, actually, before you even take this out of the pot, is picking out where you want the tree to go. Now, the couple of considerations to think about is how big this tree is going to get and what's above it and what's around it. So where I'm at in my yard, I've got a lot of space here, and so that's not really a concern. There's no power lines that it could get up into, nothing like that. But you have to think a little bit in advance. So the next thing we're going to do is, now that we know where the tree is going to go, I'm going to kind of mark the hole or the spot like this, and I'm going to pull this guy out. Now I'm going to put my gloves on, and we're going to start by removing some of this grass, and we're just going to set that aside. Now I like to use a flat bladed shovel to do this, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. So the width of the pot is about the same width as this right here. So if I just go from the center out, and then actually I put this halfway through, and then I get to here and I put it here again, I put about right like that. So I'm just going to stay about this far away, and I'm going to cut a circle all the way around out of this sod. Okay, so now I've got the sod removed, and the next step is just to dig this down a little bit and to mix the soil with the compost I have inside of the wheelbarrow. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig it just about as deep as the dirt is in the bucket here. So it's probably about 8 or 10 inches. I'm going to mix it up, and then I'm going to keep checking the pot to make sure I'm not too deep. And in fact, I want the tree to sit up above the finished level of the soil here. So I might not even go quite as deep as the tree is, but you get to see that next. Okay, so we've got the hole dug, and now we're going to put the tree kind of down in the hole. Just kind of give it a test fit. See how it's looking. It looks pretty good, actually. I don't think I need to go any deeper. In fact, it might be a little too deep. So I'll kind of knock some soil in from around the edge, mix in a little bit of compost, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so now our hole is dug, and the next step is to take the tree out of the pot. Now, the easiest way to do this is to kind of hold it over here and roll it a little bit and give it a few pushes like that. And then hopefully I'll be able to just pull it right on out of the bucket. You gotta make sure you loosen it up good. If you don't loosen it up, then it'll probably end up pulling it out. Okay, so now we've got the tree kind of semi-placed there. I'm going to take my shovel, I'm gonna hold it across the hole, and it's gonna give me about a line. Actually, I flip it over maybe better. It's gonna give me about a line that's even with the hole, top of the hole. And what I really want to have happen is I want this to stick up just a little bit, and it's actually pretty close to where I want it at. And so I'm going to just sort of work this guy in like that, and then I'm going to check to see if it's going straight up and down. If it's not, I'm going to put a little bit of soil underneath, and I'm just going to kind of press it into the hole like that. It looks pretty good. Actually, I need to move it a little bit this way. We're just going to push it down like that. Okay, so the tree is in the hole now. It's about where I want it from a height standpoint, and you can see I pulled some of the soil back from the trunk, and I'm just gonna put some soil back up to that next. And that's our next step. Actually, I lied. My next step is to mix this soil together with the compost that I have in there. This is the soil I took out of the hole. And in the bottom of the wheelbarrow is the compost that I had brought with the wheelbarrow. Okay, so that part's done. And now I like my circles to look pretty good. So I'm actually gonna do a nice shovel edge around the edge of this and just knock that stuff in the back. So that's the next step. Okay, so now that I've got the tree where I want it, I'm gonna start compacting the soil around the bottom of it, just by kind of pushing it down with my shoe and my own body weight. Now I've got that down, I'll go ahead and throw some of this mixture of compost and soil into the hole. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to start to compact it as well. Now, one of the things I mentioned at the beginning is I really don't want to go above where this soil was from the bucket originally. And so I'm really being careful not to get too high up on the side of the tree. But it is elevated a little bit above the ground, which is actually good. Okay, so now we've got our tree in the hole. We've got it sloped up to the right height. It's a little bit above the existing grass. The next step is to put the landscape fabric down. I'm just gonna use a roll that I had laying around. And so I'm just gonna pull this to the length of it. I'll cut it kind of close, and then we'll go ahead and pin it down. So I'm just gonna cut this. Cut it like that. And then I'm going to cut a slit in the middle of it. So figuring the middle is somewhere in here, not gonna be too worried. Cut a slit, I'm gonna go all the way out to the edge. And I'm just gonna wrap this right around the tree. And now I am going to tuck it on these corners and make it round, essentially. And then as I make it round, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put these landscape fabric staples in. Okay, so we've got the tree in, we've got the crown made around with the soil, we've put the landscape fabric down, and the next step is to mulch. That's what I do next. So there you have it, all done. Trees in the ground, happy. I'm sweaty and ready to be done, take a break. And hopefully you've enjoyed this month's quick tip. Again, my name is Ryan Reynolds with Keller Williams Consultants Realty, guiding you to the home that fits your life.